Adele and welcome back to Candid Talk. This is a Q&A session. Two questions that were specifically designed for Mercy to answer. And these people that wrote them, you remember yourselves, you specifically wanted answers to these questions. So this episode is specifically to give you that. And please do subscribe in the meantime. Let's see what Mercy has to say. Let's see you soon. So Mercy,
Yes.
two ladies had these questions for you, and I think they came from our conversation on
Yes.
Divorce,
Mhm.
and another one from, if I remember properly, I think wills around there,
Yes,
writing
yes.
a will.
Yes.
So these two questions I thought would answer them in that regard.
Yeah.
So the first one, this lady is asking, is she safe if she writes a prenup? Will she be protected if she gets to divorce? And I think the question there is, what is a prenup?
Yeah.
To help our viewers understand better,
Mhm.
and if this is any relevance in this country.
Yeah. So thank you very much. That's an interesting question,
Yeah,
and
it
I
was.
expected it because we are speaking about divorce,
Yeah.
and I believe people who watch movies and who also follow
The
the celebrities, a prenup is always mentioned.
Yeah.
So a prenup really is prenuptial agreement or a premarital before you get married, an agreement that you enter with your partner to sort of have an understanding of how you'd like to manage certain issues around your relationship in case of a divorce. So you sort of preempt certain elements that the law would otherwise restrict you to
Risk assessment.
by agreeing beforehand, yes, by agreeing beforehand that should this happen, this is what is going to happen. So many times these agreements center around certain basic things,
Yeah.
say around property and assets, because many times we come into relationships when either I've acquired my own assets and my partner has,
Yeah.
or we've acquired some joint assets and things like that. So you agree beforehand that in case of a divorce, what is going to happen? What are the percentages between you and your partner? And then you're also able to, agree on certain elements of your relationship. If there are issues around death and inheritance, if somebody, one of you dies, what should happen? So many times you look at different legal dimensions that you preempt and agree on before. So, so of course there are people, especially of African descent, that feel like this is a jinx, like it's you
It
sort
feels
of
like
you're saying that this
I'm getting
marriage
it,
may
but
not, but
it
it
don't
may
work.
not work, right? So many people often do not think about it from a legal perspective. They think about it like from a moral
From a moral-
perspective, like
and
why am I
society.
preparing for a divorce? I think this is part of the reason why the marriage and divorce bill was shut down, because I remember the members of parliament and the religious leaders were saying, but why should we have a marriage and divorce bill? Because
Why not say
divorce,
just marriage act?
exactly, but people are divorcing every day, so that's a story for another day. So many times people think about it differently, but in our jurisdiction in Uganda, a prenup is not yet recognized. It is not something that is in effect yet, although in the marriage and divorce bill, a prenup was part of the considerations to be included in our marriage laws, because our marriage laws have also been overtaken by events. There are laws that have been there for over 50 years, so there was need to now be progressive. For parties that would like to explore that option, they should have the freedom to, but we haven't yet gotten there. Probably soon we'll
Maybe
get
in
there.
the future, it's happening. I mean, the world is moving so fast.
Yes.
But can't I make a prenup like a contract where it becomes like under contract law?
No, no. Where will you? Where will
I'm
you
just
effect
trying
it
to see
from?
how to navigate
But
it.
then, in case of a divorce, that
Yeah.
means that you will want to execute it, and then the law does not recognize that as
can
one
it
of the
act like
forms
a will?
of. Well, it
Because
cannot.
there are elements where I'm stipulating what should happen.
Well,
when
then
I'm
you'll
dead.
just make a will. You'll just make a will. It will cease to be a prenup.
Yeah.
It will have to be a will. So you'll have to deal with a will.
That question is really, really well answered, and I
Yes.
think we've answered many people's questions
Yes.
at the back of their mind without
Yes.
knowing.
Yes.
The second question was quite interesting.
Yes.
Marital rape. Is marital rape a thing? Is it in any way a form of violence?
Yes, it is.
Does it even exist? I'm married. So I am obligated to have conjugal rights with my husband. There can't be rape, and that's what the myth around it. So this lady was asking about marital rape. So let's talk about marital rape.
You've referred to it rightly as a myth. So marital rape is really rape that happens within the confines of a marriage. And for avoidance of doubt, rape is having sexual intercourse with a person against their will. Against their will.
The thing is, I'm married. That's
Be-
where the confusion is. I'm married.
Being married does not
Do I have
take
to
away.
consent to having sex?
You have to.
It's an obligation.
No, it's not. Because whereas you're married, marriage does not give you absolute rights over another person's body. Much as conjugal rights are very core in marriage, sex, like any other thing, is supposed to be something consensual. You're supposed to consent to it. And also, marital rape has become more glaring because, as you said, if I'm married to you, I should ordinarily have no problem giving you conjugal rights. But many times when this comes into the picture, there's a background to it. It could be for health reasons, for example. And I like to share experiences because I've dealt with a case before where a woman had just had a child by cesarean, and medically you're supposed to take a period of time before you engage in sexual intercourse, but her husband could not understand that and ended up sleeping with her, and then she bled to death.
And could also cause fistula.
Precisely, she bled to death in this case. We have also seen circumstances where perhaps a man is unfaithful and has not been living at home for a while, and then he comes back home and just wants to jump on their women, and a woman will say, no, I would rather we first have some tests and whatever, or we have it in a different way, and then somebody just jumps on you. And I can tell you that, Adele, the impact of rape is the same. Even if it's your husband doing it, you feel the same way as if a stranger was doing it, because your denial of sex is informed by something, and sex is mental. You must be there mentally, physically, and in every sense. And so we, under the Marriage and Divorce Bill, that was one of the contested proposals that we had around marital rape, because for us who have dealt with cases before, you realize that a woman will come to you with a rape case, but it is a rape by the husband. Of course, rape is rape. We try to explore the criminal dimensions, but we want a very explicit mention of this within our laws to recognize that within a marriage there are rights. Yes, that within a marriage there must be, people must be able to exercise their individuality, but also have an opportunity to make informed choices about their bodies, and about, just like we have our liberty even when we're married, to exercise our rights, whether in terms of your career, whether in terms of your finances. You have every right to exercise that. You may have, out of respect, share certain elements of your personal rights with your partner, but it is not a must that you should. If you don't feel like you should be allowed to, because you're two people in a marriage, but you also have individual rights that you must uphold. So sex is the same, and it has really worked disappropriately for especially women, and the reasons have often leaned more towards health, psychological issues. Sometimes when you have a violent partner, for example, they're like monsters to you, and so you cannot enjoy having sex with you, because even the manner in which they have sex with you is violent in nature, and sometimes they injure you in the process. So you cannot tell me, because I'm married to you, I should just say yes to you, despite the fact that you're an abusive partner from whom I would want to withhold my sex. Exactly. So it's a form of violence for sure.
Wow.
But it is one that people fear to speak about.
I was going to talk about that. How do I come and say, Mercy, I've been raped by my husband?
No,
the whole world will just judge me immediately.
Yeah, I know. No, but I think that we should speak about it, like we're speaking about it now. It's something that we should openly speak about, because just like rape by a stranger, the psychological impacts on a person, on the person that has been raped, are immense. It can mess up your self-esteem, your health. It can also cause you depression, and it can have very far-reaching implications for you as an individual. So it's very important to speak about it, merely for the fact that you can get help, especially if it is repeated and you're also in a place where you're psychologically tortured and unable to put up with it. You may need psychosocial support. you may need health-related support. For example, if this happens when you've just given birth or you have other health complications, you may need health response in terms of, you know, medical care. So I feel it's important for us to start to speak about these things. Let's normalize speaking about things regardless. Even if it's in your marriage, normalize speaking about it. If it's affecting you negatively, please normalize speaking about it. You can speak about it to a health worker, you can speak about it to a counselor, so that you're able to get the required help.
We are Candid Talk, and we are talking about it candidly. Premarital marital rape, it does exist. So please, if this is happening to you, just know it's a form of domestic violence. I think we've answered the question.
Yes, we have.
Thank you, Marcy.
Thank you, viewers.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you so much for watching Candid Talks.